I hope PPT is visible. So let us begin. Science 2, Chapter 8, Useful and Harmful Microbes. In this chapter, we are learning useful microorganisms, lactobacilli, rhizobium, yeast, and harmful microorganisms, clostridium, and others. So let us begin with lactobacillus. Now, lactobacilli convert lactose, the sugar in the milk, into lactic acid. This process is called fermentation, right? So, lactobacilli, this is a useful bacteria. So what it does, the sugar which is present in the milk, that is converted into lactic acid. And we call this process as fermentation, right? So what happens during that time, the pH of milk decreases. Okay, and what happens to that milk? Milk gets converted to curd. That is process is called coagulation. Coagulation of milk proteins. Okay, so thus milk proteins are separated from the milk. So this is what happens when milk changes into yogurt. So yogurt is having a specific sour taste, right? You have tasted yogurt, right? You know what is the taste of yogurt. So why this yogurt is having a sour taste? Because it is having lactic acid, right? So lactic acid is sour. Acids are sour in taste. That's why yogurt is very sour in taste. And what about the pH? The pH destroys the microorganisms. Because of low pH, the harmful microorganisms present in the milk gets destroyed. Okay, so that is some information regarding this lactobacillus. Now there are various milk products, cheese, butter, Shrikhand, ghee, yogurt. These all are obtained by fermentation of milk. Okay, so lactobacilli fermentation is useful for large scale production of cider, cocoa, pickles of vegetables, etc. So we can use lactobacilli fermentation. Again, we can use lactobacilli and some other useful microorganisms to treat abdominal discomfort. Abdominal means what? Our stomach. If you are having stomach pain, okay, if your stomach is not comfortable, that time you can use this useful bacteria. It will give a good relief to your stomach. Stomach is paining. That time also you can have curd, buttermilk and all. Okay. Again, lactobacilli fermentation is used to make wine and some types of bread. Even in bread, we can add this lactobacilli. Okay, so these are some of the uses of lactobacilli. So students, what I explained just now, I hope I want just confirmation from you. So have you understood what I explained? Okay, if yes, please one or two will only type yes, so that or in the participants you can put a tick. You know how to put the tick. Yes, so a confirmation for me, so I will continue with the next topic. Thank you, Aditya. Others, put a tick mark in participation, so it will be easy for me to judge whether you understood or not. I was not audible beginning, now I'm audible to you all, so it will be easy for me to judge. Students, okay, enough. I got the reply from more than 5 students. Okay, so let us move to the next slide. I will be asking few questions afterwards. Okay. So you can see the lactobacillus over here, right? Now the next slide is about rhizo. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yes, teacher.
Manjima,
Yes.
you have raised your hand. Can you, if you want me, I will unmute you. Or lower your hand. Two students have raised
I'm
their
audible,
hand.
teacher.
Yeah, you're audible. You're audible.
Yeah, 2 students have raised hand. Please over here, students.
You want to speak? You can speak. Okay. One command might have appeared on your screen to unmute you. Bhumi, you want to say something? Okay, teacher, continue.
Yes, teacher. So we are moving to the second topic, second type of useful microorganism, that is rhizobium. It is a symbiotic bacteria. Okay. Now, what is the role of this rhizobium? Now, rhizobium are found in the root nodules, okay, of leguminous plants. What is their function? They supply nitrates, nitrites, amino acids to that plant, and in exchange they get energy. Okay, energy means what they are getting in the form of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates supply energy. Okay, so such a mutual beneficial relationship is called a symbiosis. So what is symbiosis? Symbiosis is a mutual beneficial relationship. That means what? Both will get benefit. Okay, like for example, rhizobium, rhizobium will produce nitrogenous compounds. Okay, so from where they are forming this nitrogenous compounds? From the atmospheric nitrogen. So in this process, nitrogen fixation takes place. So whom they depend on? They depends on leguminous plants. Now you might be thinking, what are these leguminous plants? They are nothing but beans, sweet pea, soya bean, etc. They are the host plants. Okay, so bean and pulses, as you know, they are very rich in proteins. So due to the nitrogenous compounds made available, and who is making this available to them? Rhizobia. So they are leading a symbiotic life. Means both are getting mutual benefit. Both rhizobium as well as the host plant. Host can be any of the plants like beans or sweet pea or soya bean. So after harvesting this leguminous crop, what happens? The leftover roots, okay, and some other parts of the plants, they are dumped in the soil. And to maintain its bacterial population, okay, so the use of this rhizobium help to reduce the use of chemical fertilizers. We don't need chemical fertilizers if this leguminous crops have been dumped in the soil. So that's why no use of chemical fertilizers required. Okay, so it has also helped to reduce expenses on fertilizers. Otherwise, farmers have to spend lot of money on chemical fertilizers. So thus, it will benefit the farmers. So that's why it is a useful bacteria. Okay, so that is about the about this rhizobium. I hope you understood the topic rhizobium. Okay, so okay, friends. So this topic was again explained to you. I hope you all understood very well. So I'm going to proceed with the next topic is yeast. Yeast is a type of useful microorganism. Correct? Now you'll know what is yeast. You are done in your 8th standard. You have drawn the diagram of yeast cell. So here yeast. I will share my screen again with you students. Okay, the diagram which you can see in the PPT, that is of yeast cell. Okay, now yeast cell is unicellular fungus because it is having only one cell. So it is a unicellular fungus. And there are different species, around 1500 species of yeast cell found in nature. And it is a eukaryotic type of cell, right? Now what is the meaning of eukaryotic? Eukaryotic means if the cell is having nuclear membrane and cell wall, we call the cell as cell. Now in the diagram you can see the yeast cell. The cell wall is there, that yellow colored line drawn, that is the cell wall. A big circle, which is the nucleus. Okay, you can see the nucleus over here, right? Then cytoplasm. Okay, this is a cytoplasm. And there is a bud. Okay, this is bud, right? So this yeast reproduces asexually by budding. Okay, and it is a heterotrophic fungal microbe which grows on carbon compounds. That means what? Heterotrophic means what? It cannot prepare its own food. So yeast grows and multiplies very quickly due to carbon compounds in the sugar solution. So in the process of obtaining nutrition, these yeast cells, they will convert the carbohydrates. Okay, and they will convert the carbohydrates into what? Into alcohol, as well as carbon dioxide gas is released during this process. That's why, what is that process called? It is called as, yes, how many of you remember what is this process called? Let me check in the chat box. I want answer in the chat box. The process by which alcohol and carbon dioxide is released. Yes, Manju, correct. Fermentation. Revati also the answer. Good. Yes, fermentation. Okay, thank you, students. Yeah, that means you read the textbook, you know it. Good. So that is fermentation. Now, this fermentation method is used for the preparation of bread, right? So, during that process, yeast is added. And why that yeast is added? Because the bread becomes, because of this yeast, no, bread will become very spongy and tasty and nutritious, right? So, the dough will rise up. Okay, so that's why yeast is added. Correct? So our next topic is related to antibiotics. Okay, so antibiotics. Now antibiotics are carbon compounds. Okay, obtained from some bacteria and fungus. Just start this topic, antibiotics, by a person called Alexander Fleming. Okay, now this I will introduce this person. He was a professor of microbiology, right? And what he invented, he first antibiotic, okay, that is penicillin, has been discovered accidentally by this person. That's why we all remember Dr. Alexander Fleming for discovering this life-saving antibiotics. Now, what are these antibiotics? Antibiotics are nothing but they are carbon compounds which are obtained from some bacteria and fungi. And why we are using this antibiotic? Because they will destroy or prevent the growth of harmful microorganisms. Okay, that's why what we call them antibiotics. It was discovered in the 20th century. Okay, about it was a revolution in the field of medicine. So there are several diseases like tuberculosis, TB. You might have heard of this disease. It has been completely eradicated from some of the countries because of the use of antibiotics. Okay, so antibiotics mainly act against the bacteria. Some antibiotics even destroy protozoa. Some antibiotics are useful against a wide variety of bacteria. So we call them as broad spectrum antibiotics. Example, ampicillin, amoxicillin, tetracycline. These all are examples of broad spectrum antibiotics. Okay, so when the pathogen cannot be identified by the symptom of the disease, if the symptom of the disease are not visible, or we use broad spectrum antibiotics. Okay, so whenever a pathogenic microorganism is definitely known, then we use narrow spectrum antibiotics. So two types of antibiotics are available. One is broad spectrum and the second is narrow spectrum. Now what are the examples of narrow spectrum antibiotics? Penicillin, gentamicin and erythromycin. Okay, so these all are the names of antibiotics. Now, talking about penicillin, I would like to say penicillin is what? It is also a group of antibiotic obtained from fungus called penicillium. Okay. And why we are using this? To control the infections. Some bacterial infections occur like Staphylococcus, Clostridia, Streptococci. These all are the some of the bacteria which can cause infections. So medicines containing this penicillin can treat these bacterial infections. Like for example, ear infection, nose infection, throat and skin infection. Okay, pneumonia. You might have heard about disease called pneumonia, scarlet fever. So for all this, we can use this penicillin. Okay, so I hope you understood what is penicillin. Okay, now moving to this next slide, that is about harmful microorganism. Okay, here in the diagram you can see Clostridium. Clostridium species can be seen. Now these are harmful. Sometimes you might have heard of food poisoning. Okay, now why food poisoning occurs? Because there is a bacteria which can spoil the cooked food. So that bacteria is called as Clostridium. Out of about 100 different species of this bacterium, some are free living in the soil, whereas some are in the alimentary canal of human beings as well as animals. So how these bacteria look like? They have a rod shape or they and produce bottle shape endospores. Okay, during adverse condition they become bottle shape. So one special characteristic is that they cannot withstand normal oxygen level because they grow in anaerobic condition. Anaerobic means what? Without the presence of oxygen. There are many other types of harmful microorganisms like bacteria, virus, protozoa, fungus, okay, which can cause diseases in human beings. Okay, even viruses are there which are very smaller, very smaller than bacteria, and they grow and reproduce only in the living cells. So they are very harmful to us, right? So that is about the about what? About Clostridium and some other harmful microorganisms. So students, hello. I hope you understood the chapter very well. Okay, thank you, friends. Yes, all are saying. In the participants, you just put tick mark. That will be much easier to judge. Now I will ask you few questions to judge whether you understood or not. Are you all ready for that? Give the answer using chat box. Yes. So I will be asking few questions to you. Tell me. Put the answers in the chat box. Okay. When I will be asking you. The first question to you is, yeast reproduces asexually by the dash method. Okay, budding. Very good. Maximum students have given the answers. Budding. Correct. Next question to you. Toxins of fungal origin are called dash. Toxins of fungal origin are called dash. Anybody knows the answer? Okay, nobody is replying. I will tell you. They are called as mycotoxins. What we call them as mycotoxins. Note it down, students. There are different species of fungus who secrete mycotoxins. and they are very harmful substance, very poisonous. So whenever this fungal hyphae, they absorb the nutrients from the food materials, they release the mycotoxins into the food and the food will become poisonous. Anyhow, let it be. So the next question is, leguminous plants can produce more proteins due to dash. Fill in the blanks. Leguminous plants can produce more proteins due to dash. Due to rhizobium. Very good, students. Okay, Morvika, right answer. Vansh Bansode, correct. Chaitra Rao, correct. Manjima, right answer. Vaidehi, right. So maximum students are given correct answer. Very good. Next question to you. The bacteria seen in the fresh buttermilk are dash. The bacteria seen in the fresh buttermilk. Very good. Sneha is first to answer me. Lactobacilli. I will announce the name of the student who is first to answer me. Okay. Okay, good. So you understood the chapter. I'm happy for that. Next question is, dash yogurt helps to improve our immunity. Probiotic. Very good. Aditya was first to answer me. Good, Aditya. Anushka Nayak, correct. Probiotic. Very good. Bhumi Tiwari, correct. Next question, fill in the blanks. While observing dash cultures, Alexander Fleming discovered penicillin. Staphylococcus, very good. That is the right answer. Okay. Now the last question to you. The bacteria which spoil cooked food are dash. The bacteria which spoil cooked food are dash. Clostridium, very good. Good, good. So maximum students are given correct answers. So I'm happy to hear and see that you all have understood the chapter. Okay.